Hello, welcome to Some Notes on Style. I'm your host, Joseph. This week we're going to take a look at somewhat of a specific color palette, but one I feel really exemplifies the best qualities of some of the brightest and sunniest days of the year in the high summer season. Utilizing a foundation of a very high contrast, graphic neutral pairing of navy and white, I pulled together looks which also showcase some of the brightest brights, utilizing neon greens, fuchsia pinks, and royal blues. Because colors that bright deserve to be accented with a nice summer tan and a beachy locale with a full spectrum light visibility from the sun. But peppered in the collection, there's also some really nice examples of how to wear complete navy looks from head to toe while still being able to maintain a warm weather vibe. As always, the vast majority of these pieces are vintage Ralph Lauren unless stated otherwise, but for a full breakdown of all these looks, head on over to Patreon and help support the channel, and you'll receive the monthly Some Notes on Style notebook included with your subscription. So with that bit of business out of the way, let's dive on into the deep end. Set number one. So with this grouping, I like to try to emphasize some familiar silhouettes with pieces we all know and love, which help to provide a foundation as a jumping off point for some of the bolder hues shown throughout. Generally, we see here are cotton or silk blend trousers, shirts, knits, sweaters, and blazers. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. First guy on the left, these electric green cotton chinos are given a clear focal point by accenting them with a long sleeve piqué knit cotton polo shirt in a deep dark navy with some suede espadrilles down below. With this look, I'd also like to point out that polka dot silk ascot tied around the neck. Obviously, ascots are quite a ridiculous accessory if handled poorly, but if they're worn just so, like in this instance, in a tonal navy on navy combination, also worn with a knit polo shirt as opposed to a button-down shirt, an ascot can actually act a bit like a cotton bandana, just a fancier cousin. It's a great way of pulling in a bit of an accent pattern around the neck to break up that collar line, and although this fella has his tied high and tight, sometimes a trick in real life is to just tie it very loosely and let it flow so as not to become too stuffy. Then in the next look, I got some cream silk trousers, a dressy navy t-shirt as a base, giving center stage to a bold navy linen pinstripe sport jacket. Of course, technically this can be achieved with a two-piece pinstripe suit, but this one in particular is a vintage J. Peterman blazer I found on eBay. Notice it has white colored buttons, firmly rooting this jacket as a sporting piece, almost harkening back to a nautical rowing blazer, pulling away from a traditional corporate boardroom vibe. Which is why when breaking up a pinstripe in this way, keeping a somewhat nautical undertone with cream-colored trousers and espadrilles, the historical context helps to round out the language of the look. Then for the next two looks, essentially the same equation, two different variations. White or cream-colored chinos or dress pants paired with a vibrant pink shirt, either in a pale ground fancy stripe or in a solid fuchsia sport shirt. The only difference here being the outer layer is different between a cotton knit cardigan and a navy linen blazer. Both of these instances, the somber, more serious navy outer layer helps to firm up the exuberant shades down below. Then on to look number 5, here's our first example of a true all-navy look. Once again, the navy suede espadrilles on feet firmly plant the look in a casual beachy territory, but the navy colorway, they amp up the sophistication level of an otherwise very casual shoe. Then a similar nod to our previous pinstripe fellow from before, here we got some finer pinstripe dress trousers which help to give a nice bit of pattern play to break up the solid navy grounds. The navy cashmere crewneck sweater provides a clean base and a touch of warmth for an overly air-conditioned environment. And once again, that navy polka dot ascot makes another appearance in the next best way by wearing it underneath a crewneck neckline. Notice this time around it did not tie it in the traditional knot pattern, but instead just threw it on over the neck, quite loosely. But some lessons to take away with this look are just because you're wearing a monochromatic color palette head to toe doesn't mean you cannot still have some sophisticated, subtle pattern play, in this instance dots and stripes, a timeless gentleman's wardrobe combination, here worn in a very casual and sporty way. And finally, over look number 6, perhaps the stuffiest or most formal iteration of the traditional double-breasted gold-button navy blazer worn over a contrast collar banker's shirt and a club tie, framing out the ultimate go-to-hell pant combo with these electric lime green chinos showing up once again. Now, there's not much credit I can take for this kind of combo. This preppy outfit combination staple up top has been used over and over again to clear the path for any number of wild pants worn down below. Unless you're making a cameo in Caddyshack, honestly this look requires quite a pair to pull off in an everyday setting. But I feel like it's a crucial reference for how to carry on an otherwise prohibitively formal look into a very jaunty territory when you're introducing some extreme colors into otherwise very traditional outfits. Set number 2. Okay, with these looks I pulled together, we're going to be going a little bit deeper dive into a much more modern territory. These navies can read so dark they essentially can double as black, and quite frankly could just as easily be swapped out for black in any number of these looks if you so choose. But generally, although there are still some very traditional elements hidden within these looks, overall there is a bit of a modernity and an edge to these looks, which takes them into a sharper, more urbane territory. First guy on the left, I did somewhat of a fashion no-no by here pairing up solid colored separates into what could easily be mistaken as a mismatched suit. Please proceed incredibly cautiously if this is something you want to do. It is not very well advised. But I feel like in a very modern, monochromatic way, pairing up dark on dark colors such as navy or black can sometimes be a little bit more acceptable if the overall appearance remains in a more limited color palette. And I don't know if it's going to show up on screen so well, but the saving grace really is that we've got a herringbone weave in this linen sport jacket set against a slubby plain weave linen trouser. Realize I'm kind of splitting hairs here, but again, if this is done in a very considered way, it is possible to blur the lines of acceptability just a bit. But ultimately, this tonal effect leads to the pop of royal in this long sleeve knit polo shirt, really punching out an accessory of that neon orange ribbon belt, which also helps to have some continuity when accented with those bright orange sunglasses. So even though we've got a real high contrast primary combo going on here, you see it in a few different places, helping to give a more harmonious balance. And look number 2, another tonal navy look here. Also, we can easily be read as black. And as I said before, some of my favorite ways of wearing a sweater tied around the shoulders is in a more modern, monochromatic way. Wearing it with long sleeve knit polo shirt and silk linen blend dressy pleated short shorts. Here we see that an otherwise very traditional silhouette is executed in a very modern and edgy way. Then over to look number 3, not too dissimilar from the look in our previous grouping, once again pairing a long sleeve polo, this guy in a sweater knit from Drake's of London with a loosely tied polka dot silk ascot on the neck, all letting those lime green chinos do all the screaming down below. Then on to look number 4, same trick as look number 1. Here we got the same linen trousers paired with an unlined soft suede jacket, cut in an homage to a 1935 Valstarino jacket from Valstar, sort of a modified bomber model, but ultimately providing a navy on navy foundation for that hot pink fuchsia polo shirt tucked down below, with the polka dot ascot making an appearance once again. Like I said before, the ascot could easily be swapped out for a bandana for a slightly more casual take, but I feel like when we're dabbling in this kind of high contrast color scheme, upping the formality level, or at least hinting at it, is a great way of making your complete outfit feel a little more sophisticated. And number 5, once again, another navy on navy look here. Some navy 5 pockets cut in a Bedford cord, a navy PK knit polo shirt, and navy heavy linen safari jacket. The jacket and the 5 pockets really exemplify a summertime sportiness. Obviously those espadrilles showing up once again, really rounding out this worldly gentleman of leisure connotation overall. Look number 6, more navy on navy with a casual cardigan sweater and some silk linen blend trousers, giving a taste of tradition but breaking the rules just enough with that electric neon green button-down Oxford shirt down below. A light cardigan is a great way of not only framing out a button-down shirt much like a blazer would, but also maintains a degree of casual elegance while allowing for some fun to be had in your shirt layer, which is ultimately regulated down to your collar and cuffs essentially. And finally, look number 7, the third iteration of a complete navy on navy, once again blurring the lines of acceptability, mismatching a tonal look with a navy linen blazer and some navy silk linen blend trousers and navy dressy t-shirt down below. In this case, even though we got 2 plain weaves in the jacket and trousers, I'm calling out the silver blazer buttons as my get out of jail free card here, firmly placing the jacket into blazer territory and not a fake suit. But generally with this look, pair a blazer and a t-shirt. It's a great way of modernizing something otherwise quite country club traditional into something a little bit edgier. Set number 3. Okay, we're taking a little bit of a breather here. These looks might be more applicable to a weekend vacation kind of look rather than an urban art gallery. Actually, I'm just realizing I didn't throw too many brights in here either, other than that pop of royal blue. But with these looks, I just want to try to emphasize another approach to a tonal color palette, or at least a more pared down palette, in this case navy and white being the prominent feature here, which is to lean into an equally graphic pattern play, in this case primarily stripes with a touch of that bold paisley thrown in there as well. But the through line of some more casual silhouettes, I hope just illustrate that even with something as edgy and modern as navy and white, you can easily kind of diffuse it down by throwing in more casual pieces into your mix. So with look number 1, white cotton chinos, heather blue PK button-down knit shirt, thrown on under a washed blue workwear jacket and a ball cap. Little hits of accessories help to class it up, like the suede D-ring belt and some comfy suede tassel driving loafers down below. And I didn't forget about the brights entirely, because with these electric orange sunnies, you got an otherwise pretty clean outfit. Sunglasses can be a great way of injecting a hit of color for a little bit of fun. And look number 2, here's my personal favorite kind of look for lounging poolside or when you're at the beach. Just because you're by the water doesn't mean you gotta wear some huge Hawaiian swim trunks and some grimy tank top. You can still class up the joint by wearing something otherwise quite formal in a very loose and casual way. For example, like these navy swim trunks and that banker shirt I showed previously. This time around I've got it thrown on with 1 or 2 buttons buttoned, sleeves rolled up, collar popped. Personally, it's my favorite way of wearing swim trunks, which is with a button-up shirt. Sometimes the more formal, the better. That way you still get a little bit of sun on your neck, but you have something to cover up over your shoulders before you get any burn. Ultimately, it's a very flattering silhouette combined nicely with a pair of fitted shorter trunks. Then over to look number 3, maybe a casual dinner on vacation here thrown on with some white jeans, that royal blue polo shirt from before, and a navy blazer. Royal blue and navy look so good together, don't they? Then look number 4, here's a chunky navy and white rugby style stripe cut into a long sleeve knit. Then for shorts here, I got a pair of nylon round horn purple label swim trunks with their signature clasp detail at the center front. And in all honesty, I've never been able to wear a pair of shorts like this. It's actually quite difficult to not only wear a pair of fitted waistband swim trunks, let alone one that has a heavy metal hardware closure at the center front. I mean, it looks cool on a mannequin, but in real life, I would not recommend a swim trunk of this kind at all. But generally with the look here, we got this bold stripe and the trunks kind of harkening back to this 1920s swimsuit style with this vague nautical approach, making a great high contrast graphic swim trunk look, which still exudes an elegant dressy finish. Look number 5, once again, navy blazer and some cream silk pants. Real showstopper here comes in the form of this bold navy and white paisley printed linen shirt. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of a big graphic print, but in this pseudo vacation kind of vibe, it can be a great way of adding a little bit of visual interest to an otherwise quite classic pairing of navy and white. And by wearing such a bold pattern underneath a more subdued navy blazer, it's actually a great way of showcasing something that may be otherwise a little bit too fun as a secondary accent piece, kind of jazzing up an otherwise too boring combo. And finally, look number 6, same base outfit as before. Matter of fact, it's the same navy shorts and polo, this time around throwing on a graphic navy and white striped nautical linen crew neck sweater over the shoulders. It's a great visual interest thrown on in a very casual way, ultimately keeping a sharp, edgy look nice and easy for the summertime by using the stripes as a great way of making a dark outfit a little more summertime appropriate. Look number 4. Finally, here's some looks I feel kind of strike a balance between everything I presented so far. We see touches of modern minimal nods towards slightly more traditional familiar looks and 1 or 2 touches of a hint of nautical edge. There's some dark looks, some white jeans, and there are moments of punchy neon colors all blended together in a very practical, approachable daily uniform. First look on the left, some crisp white chinos are dressed up just a touch with a dark heavyweight silk twill shirt underpinning that navy sport jacket, accented with a narrow crocodile D-ring belt and those sporty tassel driving loafers down below. Around the neck, a true bandana and a navy polka dot pattern. Overall, subtle accessorizing and a minimal color palette make a look like this feel right at home cruising in your convertible around the hills of Monte Carlo. Then look number 2, a navy linen blazer with the same white chinos. This should be a dressy summertime staple uniform. Almost any formal outfit in the summer months can start with these 2 pieces and instantly you set the stage for a timeless classic look. But in this case, we brought in that fuchsia pink shirt, a dark navy silk knit tie, polka dot pocket square, and suddenly these very classic traditional staples are punched into a more fun and unexpected territory. Look number 3, kind of merging the same idea as the previous 2 mannequins. Up top, we got a navy long sleeve polo shirt, underneath a navy herringbone linen sport jacket, a touch of fun coming in those bright neon chinos. Those orange sunglasses make an appearance once again, helping to bridge the gap between darker top and brighter bottom. Those espadrilles made up in a darker color or in a more luxurious material like soft suede look so good when they're paired with casual tailoring. They give such a cool Mediterranean vibe to something which could easily fall a little flat if it's paired with the wrong shoe otherwise. Next look number 4, a warm weather version of the previous navy on navy looks, this time swapping out that cashmere sweater for a nice dressy navy t-shirt. Worn with some slim linen twill dress pants. Like I said, throwing on that polka dot silk ascot with a crew neckline makes something otherwise very foreign feel a little bit at ease. Not to mention wearing something so formal with something so informal makes for a more interesting study in contrasts. And look number 5, lime green chinos once again, this time around with a dark navy polo neck sweater and a navy bonded cotton peacoat style raincoat for a slight chance of showers. With this look, you can see the same trick applied once again with the navy on navy top half. I'd really like to illustrate this combo can be done with just about any sweater or jacket you can find. Simply by matching colors on your inner and outer layers, you got a very modern, minimal base, which can even out your bolder choice down below. And finally, look number 6, navy on navy. Once again, this time around throwing in a bit of a nautical touch with a shawl collar, open knit cotton cardigan. Of course, this one's got those signature toggle closures, but it doesn't have to in order to make this look successful. Throwing in those navy pinstripe trousers once again helps to provide a little bit of pattern play against the navy linen button-down shirt and navy suede espadrilles, firmly situating this kind of modern minimal look into a beach nautical territory. And with that, that's going to wrap us up for this episode. I realize most days this time of year, style advice tends to lean into softer earth tones and neutrals, which there is by no means anything wrong with that advice. I certainly find myself in beiges, browns, tans, and creams more often than not most days this summer. But showing these pieces with a more high contrast, punchy color palette, I just want to try to emphasize that as a counterpoint to something which may be a bit washed out or neutral, you can have fun with color during the dog days of summer and not dress like a clown. If anything, pairing colors which might otherwise be impossible to wear with summertime darks, it can really set you apart from the crowd. And I hope I've shown some examples of how you can get away with wearing dark colors in the middle of summer and not look too heavy or weighed down. As always, paying attention to material, incorporating familiar silhouettes, and classic pieces, you can make sure to keep an edgy, more bold wardrobe firmly rooted in the territory of good taste and classic style. And if you all enjoyed this video, please do give me that thumbs up or click that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And if you'd like to help support the channel and receive some monthly inspirational tear sheets in the form of the Some Notes on Style notebook, as well as a complete breakdown of all these mannequins, you can head on over to the link in the description down below, go over to Patreon, become a distinguished gentleman, and help to support this channel. Special thanks, of course, to all my patrons who have already done just that and are helping me along the way. Once again, the channel is Some Notes on Style. I'm your host, Joseph. See you again next time, guys. Bye.